problem which is available in Vivi Bandari's book, but it will give you a lot of idea how to tackle the design of simple machine element, and based on that you can design quarter joint as well as knuckle joint also. Okay, let us see. It's a numerical written in book. It's a very simple one. It is required to design a quarter joint to connect two steel rods of equal diameter, and each rod is subjected to an axial tensile force of 50 kN. Design the joint and specifies dimension. Now in this statement, always in design, read problem statement carefully. So what you have to do? Design a quarter joint. Quarter joint means three parts: socket, spigot, and quarter. It is used to connect two steel rods. That means it is made up of steel. Each rod is subjected to axial tensile force is given 50 kN, and design a joint. But other materials used for a socket, spigot, and quarter, it is not mentioned here. What you have to do? First of all, you have to select the material by using data book or design data book. You can select it, and based on that, what is the SYT, or even though you can select factor of safety, so then yield tensile strength, or all this data available in any design data book, or you can refer Vivi Bandari's book also, no problem. So let us start here how to solve this problem. Now here you will find it is mentioned design quarter. The quarter consists of three parts: socket, quarter, and spigot. And we are going to here, the spigot is inserted here in socket, and then quarter is fitted, and because of the wedge action, it's a tight joint, you can say. Again, axial force P is given, that is how much? 50 kilonewton, that is 50 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. Always convert it into Newton. Then what you have to do? You have to select the material. It is not given in problem statement, but it is mentioned. It is made up of two rods are made up of steel, but which steel it is not mentioned. And generally preferred material for the steel, it is plain carbon steel of grade 30 C8. You can select, even though 40 C8, 45 C8, all these are the plain carbon steels, you can select. And from data book you will get, for plain carbon steel 30 C8, SYT is equal to 400 Newton per mm square. Then here, while selecting the material for the socket and the spigot, the material for the quarter, that also you have to select. But here in this problem, material for two rods means spigot and socket, and quarter, which is selected as a plain carbon steel 40 Newton, having SYT 400 Newton per mm square. Then what we have to do? We have to select the factor of safety for this. Now factor of safety for two rods or a socket and spigot, it is in the range of 5 to 6. You can consider 5 or 6, and for a quarter it is 4. It's a FOS, factor of safety. Once you know the SYT and FOS, so you can easily find out the permissible shear stress which is required in the design to find out induced stresses or a dimensions of the component. How to do it? The first of all, once you have decided the material, listen carefully, material, then what you have to do? Refer the data book and take its now SYT, and if it's a brittle, SYT is ultimate tensile strength, is a criteria for a brittle. Now here is a ductile, plain carbon steel, SYT you can take, then select the FOS from the data book, and once you know the SYT and FOS, find out the allowable or permissible stresses for the rods or for different components in general. Now here, SYT, you know, 400 and 6 FOS is taken. I have told you may take 5 or 6, here 5 instead of 5, 6 is taken. The sigma T, permissible stress per rod, you can calculate SYT upon FOS is sigma T permissible. Okay, similarly, this plain carbon steel is used for spigot and socket. That's why for the crushing, permissible crushing stress which is required, because socket and spigot is also going to fail because of the crushing. So therefore, how to find out the crushing stress? SYC upon FOS, but SYC is equal to 2 SYT. Now question arises, how it is taken? The yield compressive stress is equal to 1.5 times 2 times SYT. It's a, look at this. Yield compressive stress of a plain carbon steel is equal to 2 times SYT, or it is in the range of 1.5 to 2 times SYT. You always use these basics, and always compressive stress is more. And that's why to find out the permissible compressive stress, sigma C, what you have to do? SYC upon FOS. This is the simple equation. But what is the value of compressive stress? Yield compressive. Here I have taken 2. But if you would like to take, you can take 1 point SYT, no problem. Remember, no need to bother. Sometimes in problem statements, it may be given, consider or assume yield compressive stress is equal to 1.5 times the SYT or 2 times the SYT. If it is not given, you can assume SYC is equal to in the range of 1.5 to 2 SYT. I have taken 2 times SYT and 1 divided by FOS. What you will get? Sigma C. The crushing stress permissible, sigma T permissible. Now for a quarter is going to fail here. Spigot is also going to, shear stresses are going to induce in Spigot also. You know very well because of the axial tensile force. So here we have to find out the shear stress permissible tau P. How to find out this tau P? Tau P is equal to SSY upon FOS. But what is SSY? You know very well. 0.5 SYT. This is according to maximum shear stress theory divided by FOS. So tau permissible is equal to, remember this equation. You might have used in SOM also, SSY upon FOS. But what is SSY? SSY is equal to 0.5 SYT. 0.5 SYT. This is according to maximum shear stress theory. If someone is going to ask you to find out this tau permissible according to distortion energy theory, so you can use 0.577 SYT. Remember these things. Okay. So by using this, you can find out shear stress permissible, crushing stress permissible, and sigma tensile permissible stress or permissible tensile stress. Once you know these permissible stresses, you can find out the permissible stresses for the quarter. Because even though quarter is made up of the same material like spigot and socket, but what is the problem? For a quarter, we have assumed FOS is equal to what? 4. And here we have assumed FOS for spigot and socket, that is 6. That's why you will get the different allowable stresses for spigot and socket than the quarter. Now let us find out the allowable or permissible stresses for the quarter. Quarter, again you know very well, is going to fail due to shear and due to bending. And for a bending, we have to find out this sigma T is equal to SYT upon FOS. Again, it is made up of the same material, SYT remains same. Only FOS is going to change. You can find out sigma T is equal to 100 Newton per meter. Then next, SSY is shear yield strength or yield strength in shear pronoun. Okay. Then what you have to do? You have to find out SSY for a quarter. The tau permissible for a quarter is equal to SSY. SSY means shear yield strength upon FOS, but again it is according to maximum stress theory 0.5 SYT. The SYT again 400, you will get 500. Once you know these permissible stresses, so we have to use these values in design to find out the dimensions of the spigot and the socket. Let us see how to design. You know very well this is the quarter. It consists of spigot and the socket and nomenclature. The outer collar diameter of the spigot D3, then collar diameter here D4 for the socket, then small d. What is small d? Is the end rod diameter of the socket or a spigot. Then what is D1 is the enlarged portion of the, or you can say the for the socket outer diameter. Similarly here another one is the, here it is mentioned, this is D2. D2 is the outer diameter of the spigot or inside diameter of the socket. Then quarter, mean width of the quarter denoted by B, the thickness of the quarter T. So you should know all this nomenclature, because by using this nomenclature we are going to use the expression according to this nomenclature. Now let us start design. It's a very simple study. We have seen how to design. You know very well the end rod of the spigot and the socket is having diameter D. How to design it? Because of this axial force P, it is going subjected to axial tensile force, you know, the P, 50 kilonewton. And because of that, weakest portion of the, this is the end rod. This is the end rod. This is going to fail. Somewhere internal resisting forces are going to set up to oppose this force P. So this area we have to consider. Yesterday I have told sigma T is equal to P by A. But end rod diameter we have denoted by small d. So A is equal to what you will get, pi by 4 into d square. So you can substitute here. So by substituting it and rearranging the term, you will get d is equal to, from this equation, under root 4p by pi sigma t. Sigma t is the permissible tensile stress. Sigma t is equal to permissible tensile stress, which is we have calculated SYT upon FOS. What is SYT for plain carbon steel? 400. On earlier slide I have explained, and FOS 6, you will get this 66.67. P 50 into 10 raised to 3, pi 3.14. You will get the diameter of the end rod of the spigot and the socket. This end rod of the spigot and the socket, this is small d, you will get 30.92. But I have assumed instead of 30.90, I have not taken 31, I have taken 32. It's your choice, designer choice. You can increase. What does it mean? Diameter 30.90 means this end rod of this quarter and the spigot is going to sustain when diameter d is equal to 30.90. If it's greater than this, it is always going to sustain. But when this diameter is less than this 30, it is going to fail because of this tensile stress. Try to understand. This is the thing. That's why you have a right to increase the dimension by some magnitude. If I am going to this 30 instead of 30, I am going to say I would like to take 40 mm. But what would happen? It is going to sustain. It is not going to fail. It's correct. But what would happen? The dimension, you know, because of the 40, the dimension material required for the end rod of the spigot and the socket is going to increase, and it increases the cost of the component or cost of the quarter also, or quarter joint also. Then once you have calculated the D, it's a 32. Yesterday I have told you what is the thickness of the quarter. You have to use the empirical relation IR. What is the empirical relation for thickness of the quarter? 0.31 into D. What is the this diameter? So you will get 9.92 or equal to 10 mm. Now you should know the quarter. You know, this is the quarter, and its thickness already we have calculated now. T, this is 0.3, empirical relation 0.31 times the D. Now we have a thickness of the quarter. We have to find out the B, but we will find out because quarter is going to fail against shear and against bending. By using these two relation, we can easily find out the small b. Okay, got it? The end rod of diameter of the spigot, that is 32 for both the spigot and socket. End rod diameter 32. Now let us see next dimensions. Now consider the first one here. Spigot. Yesterday also same procedure you can use. You know, this is the spigot, and this dimension we have calculated D is equal to 32 mm on earlier slide. Now what we have to do? We have to calculate this dimension. This is D2. D2 is the outer diameter of the spigot or inside diameter of the socket. Remember, because spigot gets inserted in the socket. The inside diameter of the socket, that is D2, or outer diameter of the socket D2. That we have to find out. And because of this tensile force, at this surface, or you can say on the portion of the spigot, where we will get the weakest, you know, the section which is going to fail earlier. So because of this slot, this is the weakest section where you can consider the sectional area or the area of this weakest part. I am going to cut this here. You will get the area here, and that's area you can consider. Because of this tensile force P, what is the sigma D? P upon A. But what is the area? Yesterday we have seen how to calculate it. The cross sectional area is equal to pi by 4. Now look at this here. Suppose I am going to consider this is the outer diameter. What? Here I have mentioned D2. The D2 area pi by 4 into D2 square means total area I have considered. Then I have to subtract this middle hollow section. This is D. vertical D, and this T, D into T is the area. So pi by 4 into D2 square minus D2. So you will get cross sectional area. You can substitute here this. So you will get sigma T is equal to P by A. The P is equal to this relation you will get. But we know the P, 50 kilonewton. Then what is D2? We don't know. Sigma T we know very well, because this spigot is also made up of a SYT, plain carbon steel, having 400 Newton per mm square. This 400 upon 6, you will get sigma T permissible, that is SYT upon FOS, 66.79. So by solving this equation, you will get D2. The D2 is equal to 37.91 or equal to 40. So this D2 is nothing but a outer diameter of the spigot or inside diameter of the socket. Therefore, you can mention outer diameter of the spigot or inside diameter of the socket is equal to 40 mm. This is about the D2. Now you have obtained D2. Now let us find out the D1. What is D1? It's about the socket. D1, you know very well. This is, what is this? End rod of the socket D. We have one first slide we have determined. What is this? Is D1? D1 means LR diameter of the socket, that we have to find out. Again, because of this tensile force, socket is going to fail where the section is weak. Where the the slot, so you can consider this area. It is going to place at the weakest section. That's why I am going to consider it this weakest section. Again, you know this is, what is this inside? This is D2, because where spigot is inserted, spigot diameter is D2 and outer diameter is D1. You know very well. Now to find out this area, therefore I am going to find out here. Again, simple equation you have to, sigma T is equal to P upon area. But how to find out this area? So this area we have to find out, which is highlighted by the red color. You can say pi by 4 into D1 square minus D2 square. So you will get this. And again, you have to subtract this part from this annual ring and this part. That's why D1 outer minus D2 into thickness of this. This is T. D1 minus D2 into T. So you will get, this is the cross sectional area. You can substitute this cross sectional area here, P sigma T. Therefore, you will get this equation. And you know the P, 50. What is sigma T? Sigma T remains same, because socket, spigot, all are made up of same material. Therefore, sigma T permissible is equal to, we have calculated SYT upon FOS. So it is 66 point. Earlier slide we have already taken. You can take that value. Substitute all these values here. What is T? Thickness we have calculated 0.31 times the D of the end rod of the spigot and socket. By using this relation D2, on earlier slide we have calculated outer diameter of the spigot. Here you will get the D1. By solving this equation, you will get D1 52.4 or 55 mm. This is about, now we have calculated D, we have calculated T, we have calculated D1, we have calculated D2. All these dimensions we have calculated. Okay. Then let us see next, collar diameters. Now here, yesterday we have seen, this is the collar diameter of the spigot. What is the collar diameter? If you are going to observe from this side, this is the collar diameter of the spigot denoted by D3. And what is this? This is the socket, SOCKET. This is the socket. And collar diameter, that means inside we will observe, this is the socket collar diameter denoted by D4. But no need to calculate, no need to do the calculation. Empirical relations are given. D3 is equal to, you can note down, socket collar diameter, spigot collar diameter, D3 is equal to 1.5 times the D. D is the end rod diameter. You can substitute, you will get 48 mm. And D4 is the socket collar diameter, and which is equal to 2.4 times the D. You will get 76.8 or 80 mm. Remember these things. So by using this empirical relation, the collar diameter for a socket and spigot you can find out by using these two empirical relations. So you will get these dimensions. Okay. Instead of this D3 is equal to 40 and 76, even though you can make it 50, no problem. Okay, it's your choice. So I have taken spigot collar 48 mm and socket 40, as that is 80 mm. Okay, this is about the collar dimension. Only one dimension that is remaining, that is width or mean width of the quarter, that we have to find out against the shear failure and against the bending failure. So here, before that, you know, in a quarter joint, I have told the two term, what is A and what is C, the gap of the, you know, the end of the, where when the collar is going to touch with the collar of the spigot, that time there is a gap, and how to take into account this gap by the C. So this dimension A and C, which are calculated by using the empirical relation, that is A is equal to 0.75 times the D means end rod diameter, and similarly C is equal to. So you can use this for A and C. You will get A and C is equal to 24. It's very simple, empirical. That means here in design, in rational design, we are using empirical relations also to determine some of the dimension. It's a standard practice. Okay. I have written here A is equal to C, the axial distance I have already mentioned. Only one important point which is remaining to find out the B, that is width of the quarter, and how to, because quarter is going to fail against the shear, because of shear and because of the bending. So first of all, find out the quarter B against the shear failure. So you know very well when it is subjected to tensile force, where the upper and the lower part of this the quarter which is going to fail because of the shear. So what is this? At the middle or mean it is B, and what is the thickness of the quarter T? So what is this area of the upper part? B into T, and lower part are to B into T. The total cross sectional area is equal to 2 times B into T. Therefore, shear stress in quarter, the tau permissible for a quarter is equal to P upon area. And what is this area? 2 times B into T. Why 2 times? Because here shear failure of the quarter in two places you can say, this area B into T and this area B into T. This you have to consider. And after substituting P is equal to 50 kilonewton, tau and T is equal to 10 mm, already we have calculated from 0.31 times the D. So what you will get B? So you will get B is equal to 50. According to this shear failure or against shear, B is equal to how much? 50. But whether this 50 is sufficient to take the bending load, we don't know. Because shear failure is occur when joint is a very tight one. Because of that, there may be possibility of shear failure. And if there is a clearance between the quarter and the slot, that time there may be possibility of which failure. Yesterday we have talked about this, the bending failure of the quarter. And because of this bending, yesterday we have seen, we have considered the wearing load, UDL, then converted into point load, converted into this 1/3 from this side and 2/3 from this side, and we have made the analysis, and by making the analysis we have derived the one of the relations, and this relation is this sigma B is equal to, I don't want to go again this relation, P by 2 in bracket D by D2 by 4 plus D4 minus D2 by 6 into B by 2 upon TB cube. So sigma B is equal to MBY, Y is equal to B by 2, I is equal to TB cube by 12, and MB, yesterday we have seen how to derive this relation. So you can use this relation. What is sigma B? Sigma B is the bending stress that we have already calculated. Now we are going to substitute this. Yesterday we have seen this equation. I don't want to go in detail. Directly I am going towards the B. Look at this B. How to use this B here? B is equal to, this equation is arranged in this fashion. You know D2, you know D4, outer diameter of the socket spigot collar. D2 is the outer diameter of the spigot. P is the pores, axial pores, sigma B. Now in this case, T is the thickness and sigma B is the against the crushing or the bending that you have to use. For a quarter, what is sigma B? Sigma T is equal to SYT upon FOS. Here in this case, FOS is taken 4, therefore the sigma T which is coming 100. In earlier cases is 66.3 for the spigot and the socket. Remember these things. Okay, this is the quarter, and for a quarter we have taken FOS 4. That's why this permissible bending stress is going to change. That is the 100. So you can do this SYT upon FOS. You will get this 100. So you can substitute all these values and find out the B. Again, after solving against the bending, even though you are getting the same value, out of this earlier against here, how much is the value? Against here, how much is the value? 50. And against bending, it is again how much? 50. So you can consider always larger dimension. Here remember one thing, against here quarter width B is equal to 50, and against bending quarter width B is equal to 50. In both the calculation, it is same. That's why you can take larger value. Now, suppose against bending is 40 and against here 50, so you have to take this 50. If again bending is 60 and against here 50, you can take 60. Remember this thing. This is one approach. Another approach I would like to discuss against shear failure. Suppose you have calculated 40. So what you have to do by using this relation against bending failure, you can substitute B is equal to 40 here. B is equal to 40. P is equal to 15 to 10 raised to 3 Newton. Okay. Then D2 you know, D4 everything you know, you can substitute all the value and find out the sigma B. If this sigma B is less than the 100, you have calculated 100 is the permissible shear stress, bending stress here. 100 is the permissible sigma T for a quarter. If your calculated sigma B is less than 100, you can say this 40 is correct one, which you have calculated against shear. This is also the another approach for the design. So don't make any confusion. By using shear failure, you can find out B. You can substitute here this B and find out sigma B. And this calculated sigma B should be less than the sigma B permissible. Here sigma B permissible is 100. If your calculated sigma B is less, you can say B is equal to 40. Calculated against shear is correct. And if sigma B is greater than the sigma B permissible, then it's not correct. Then what you have to do? You have to increase the B. So instead of that, you can do one thing. This is also another approach that I would like to discuss with you. I will discuss in future also. But calculate the B against shear, again bending, and where you will get the maximum or larger value, you can use it. For another approach, calculate the value of B against shear and substitute this B in the equation of bending failure of the quarter, find out the sigma B, and this determine sigma B should be less than the permissible sigma B. Then and then you can say your design is safe. This is the approach. Okay. And in this way, we have determined all the dimensions. Now you have end rod dimension of the spigot and socket, you have a outer diameter of the spigot, you have a outer diameter of the socket, you have a collar dimension by using the empirical relation, you have a thickness of the quarter. Now by using this equation, you have a width of a quarter also. Again, what you have to do, you have to check all these values against shear failure and again crushing failure. You know very well, spigot is going to fail against shear because of this slot. Similarly, socket is also going to fail in slot because of shear, and socket and spigot both are going to fail because of shear and the crushing. So what we have to do, after calculating all these dimensions, you have to check shear stress induced in the spigot and the socket, and induced shear stress should be less than the permissible stress. Then and then you can see your design is safe. It is applicable for the shear as well as the crushing failure. Now let us checking shear and crushing for the spigot. First of all, spigot. Now shear failure of the spigot. You know very well, because of this force, there may be possibility of failure of the shear failure of the spigot. This side one area, back side second. You can consider both the areas. Now this is how much is the dimension? D2 and thickness. Here, this is nothing but A. Yesterday we have seen this is A. The D2A into the area for one shear area, backside another, the D2 into A into 2, the total area 2 times D2 into A. So shear stress induced in the spigot is equal to P upon A. What is P? 50 into 10 raised to 3 Newton, and area that we have to substitute 2 times A into D, 2 into 24 into D. So you will get 26.04 shear stress induced in spigot. But this calculated shear stress 26.04 should be the less than permissible. This calculated 26 is less than permissible means 33. 33 means we have for a spigot we have calculated. I would like to show on first slide permissible stresses we have determined. Look at this here, permissible stresses. Where are the permissible stresses? Here you will find. Look at this here. I would like to show where this is permissible for spigot. SSY upon FOS and 33. This is applicable to rods means spigot as well as socket, spigot and socket. Remember this. And crushing stress, how much? 133, because we are going to use these two stresses to check the Indo stresses here in the spigot and the socket. Okay. So based on that, we can say the induced shear stress in this spigot is 26, but permissible is 33. The induced stress is less than permissible. Design is safe. Design is safe. Similarly, check against the crushing failure. How to check it? Let us move towards the second. Now here, that's why I have written crushing failure of the spigot. Now this is the spigot, and here projected area that we have to consider. If they are properly pitted, water comes in contact with this, and there may be possibility of crushing. Crushing stress is nothing but a compressive. So how to find out this? Sigma C upon P by A. P is equal to 50. But what is the area? This area you have to consider. This area nothing but, and for a spigot, what is outer diameter? D2. And what is the thickness of the quarter T? D2 into T. The D2 into T is the area. You can substitute. The crushing stress in spigot is equal to 125. But on earlier first slide, you know very well, permissible crushing stress, how much? 133. The 125 is less than 133. That means it is also safe against the crushing. The spigot, you can say spigot is also safe against crushing. Similarly, you can apply both the equation for a socket. Now let us see for a socket. Now look at this. This is the socket. Outer diameter is the color D4. Then it's say the D1, and inside, you know, though for a hollow portion, this is D2. Outer diameter of the spigot is nothing but a inside diameter of the socket. So it is going to fail because of the shear. These four portions, one, backside, another, and bottom. The total four areas that you have to consider. The shear area is equal to, how to find out? D4 minus D2, and again this is C. The D4 minus D2 into C is the area. This is for one, that means frontal plane, and backside again same, so you can multiply it by 2. Here you will get the total shear area. The total shear area, the tau is equal to P by A, is very important. D4 minus D2 into C into 2. So by using this expression, what you have to do for a single one, D4 minus D2 into C, into C, so you will get this, but you have to subtract this. This is also D4 minus D2 into C. This is area you will get for the one, and there are two areas, that's why 2. So you can find out the shear stress induced in socket, that is 26, but permissible 33. Induced calculated is less than permissible. You can see your design is safe. Okay. Similarly, you can check for the crushing also. This is the crushing. For a crushing, again we will see here. Crushing failure. Again, this where the crushing is going to occur in case of socket. The projected area you have to consider. This is the projected area that we have to find out. D4 minus D2 into T. This is the area. Therefore, sigma C is equal to P upon A. P you know very well. Area is equal to this. You can substitute. I have substituted. Sigma C is equal to this. You will get 125. The crushing failure of the socket end. This is 125, but permissible how much? 133. You can say induced calculated stress is less than permissible. Your design is safe. In this way, and again yesterday we have seen thickness of the spigot collar T1 is equal to 0.4 times the D. You can calculate. In this way, you will get all the dimensions, and you can check all the stresses induced in spigot and the socket. And by putting all these dimensions, you can construct sectional front view, sectional top view, and this is sectional front view, this is sectional top view, and this is side view. So by using the first angle projection method, three views are drawn. So you can see detail. This is the detail drawing of the quarter joint, detailed drawing of the quarter joint. But it's not a production drawing. When it becomes a production drawing, when I am going to use a limit, pitch, tolerances, geometric tolerances, surface roughness symbol on this, then it becomes a detailed drawing of a quarter joint or production detailed drawing of a quarter joint. In this way, you have to design the quarter joint. Question, show previous slide. Okay, previous slide. Yes. So what's about the taper? You can take in the range of yesterday I have told the taper for the quarter. It is in the range of how much? 1:2. You can vary from 48 to up to 24. that you have to make the changes. The taper should be, one is the straight one, and this you have a width here, you have a thickness, so you can apply the taper in the range of maybe one that is 24 or up to 48, in the range of 24 to 48. This is the logic that you have to use here. Okay.